Здравствуйте, дорогие товарищи! В эфире программа Ushanka Show. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Ushanka Show. Stories about life in the Soviet Union. Get comfortable in your chairs, get some popcorn because Comrade John Wayne Cheeseburger is ready to tell you another story about his experience in a Soviet college. This video is part 4 of my Soviet college saga, and if by any chance you missed my previous stories, they're located in Soviet college playlist. Link will be in the comment section below. And before we begin, I would like to remind everyone that we're talking about the events of summer of 1988 when I was 17. I was still young and free, and I just became a student of Kiev Polytechnical Institute. In my numerous videos about Soviet schools, which also located in the Soviet education playlist, I mentioned many times that school year always started on September 1st, except if September 1st fell on Sunday. So regardless which republic, Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, Uzbekistan, regardless if it's school or college, school year also always began on September 1st. So when I got accepted to Kiev Polytechnical Institute, it was my expectation they're going to tell me now we'll see you on September 1st, which in 1998 fell on Tuesday. But no, they told us we need to see you on Monday, August 17. And for 2 weeks before college starts, you will be working at one of the collective farms in outskirts of Kiev. Actually, it was so-called Sovkhoz, Soviet farm. And then you'll be back, and then you start school. By the way, I already made the video where I explained the difference between so-called kolkhoz, collective farm, and sovkhoz, Soviet farm. Link will be in the comment section as well. And we were told to bring, a backpack or a bag with enough clothing and other supplies for 2 weeks. There'll be housing provided and food. So there'll be pretty much like a summer camp. You have a barracks where we're going to sleep, and then we're going to work. And then we're going to sleep, and then we're going to work and have some meals between. And no one was upset or was complaining because pretty much every Soviet kid already went through this drill. We all went to the collective farms to help on the weekends while we were in school, in high school. So that was nothing new for us. But I had a small problem. I had a surgery scheduled for August 24th, which was Monday. So I could only work 1 week. Then I had to leave for my eye surgery. So I went to my eye doctor and I got медицинская справка, medical notice paper that stated that Sergei Sputnikov on August 24th will have an eye surgery, so he need to be released from agricultural work. These so-called spravki were an important part of our everyday life in the Soviet Union. We actually had expression без бумажки ты какашка, а с бумажкой человек. Without this piece of paper, you're a piece of dookie, but with it, you're a human. So when I went back to my college on August 17, which was Monday, I brought my bag and I brought that medical document, and I found the guy who was in charge, and I showed him the медицинская справка and explained that next Monday I will have eye surgery, so I cannot work both weeks. To my utter surprise, the guy looked at my document and waved his hand and said, "Oh, you're fine, you don't need to go at all, you can just go home." So just like that medical spravka got me off the hook, and I didn't have to go and work at the collective farm, which sounded like a great idea. I could just go home and relax for a week, enjoy last weeks of the summer, or I could still go and work for 1 week. A while back, I recorded a video about my experience with Jewish people in the Soviet Union, and just in case if you missed that story, link also will be in the comment section. But anyway, we had a Jewish girl in our class, and she never went with us to work at the collective farms. She always would bring a medical spravka, just like I did, which says that her health conditions didn't allow her to work. And she looked healthy. She did everything else in school. She was running, jumping during physical education. But she never, ever went with us to work at a collective farm, never been in the fields. And I remember that kids didn't like her for that reason, because they was just like, look at her. She always finds excuse not to go and work at the collective farm. She just doesn't like, manual labor. So now I faced a similar dilemma. Should I come or should I go? And I decided I need to go, because if I don't work with those guys, they will become friends, they will know each other, and then I will show up on September 1st. Hi, my name is Sergei Sputnikov, and I skipped the agriculture labor, but I'll be with you in your class. And I was like, nope, I don't want to be separate from the group. I need to become friends with them, learn about them, spend time with them at the collective farm. So that was my decision. So I asked that guy in charge, is it okay if I go and work for a week and then leave, and so I can get my eye surgery? And he looked surprised, like, sure, if you want to. So that's how I joined my team, and we hopped on the buses and we left Kiev. So our living conditions in that collective farm was quite basic. Unfortunately, I have no photos and never bothered to take pictures or bring camera with me. But anyways, it was like a barrack style living, so big rooms, 10, 15 guys per room, just cots. Then you have common showers, and they had a separate dining room hall. So we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. And there was a small movie theater, so in the evening we could watch movies. So pretty much you get up in the morning, have breakfast, go out in the fields, come back, have lunch, go back in the fields, come back, have dinner, hang out, go to bed. And that was pretty much day after day. I also must mention, we were paid. Like when I was in school, like 8th grade, 9th grade, and they sent us to collective farms to help, there was no pay. It was pretty much free. You can call it slave labor. Here, I don't recall how much, but I believe I made 35 rubles first week. So they paid us, actually, it was like a flat rate every day you work. So I guess I worked, like 5 days. So that was 7 rubles per day. I kind of got lucky because on the first day, they asked if anybody wants to volunteer instead of going to the fields to harvest crops. You will work loading and unloading trucks at so-called bazar. So it was like a distribution center. And most guys didn't think it was a good idea, but I volunteered with a couple other dudes. So we spent first day in that bazaar place. I think there were like 4 of us, and all 4 were hardworking people. I guess people who volunteer, they usually tend to be hardworking. So the manager of the distribution center, which also belonged to that collective farm, he liked us so much that he was requesting us every day. I want those 4 guys back at my place. And it was hard work, unloading by hand trucks. But there was always some freebies. Like there was a, truck came with watermelons, from not from the local farm, but from the south. And they let us break some watermelons, and we ate them all day long. So we had a good time. And there was only one day when I ended up working out in the fields, harvesting beets by hand. So there'll be a tractor going with the plow, and, it's kind of like making beets come up on the surface. And then you just walk behind, dragging crates, and you fill the crate, then you carry crate to the trailer, get another empty crate, and keep on going. So it was a back-breaking work. But still, we had fun. We were young and dumb. So every time you find a beet that's shaped more like a cucumber, you just get the knife and you carve the peanuts out of it, then you put in a crate, and then you just chuckle thinking about some poor lady in the grocery store that won't get it out of the crate, and then she'll be looking at it and thinking about who did that. I also got lucky because at the end of my stay and the end of the week, management started talking to us. Hey guys, we would like you to make more money. So how about instead of paying you flat rate per day, we'll pay you based on our profit. So if we, sell this 5 tons of beets at this amount of money, instead of 7 rubles per day, you might get 10 or even 15. So everyone got all fired up, and they voted and they agreed to get paid based on profit instead of flat rate. And that was a bad idea, because when I met my friends again, when college started on September, and we were sharing memories, he said, dude, you are so lucky. We made 35 rubles first week, and he said we barely made 10 rubles for the whole next week. We worked as hard or even harder because we're hoping to make more money, but they barely made any profit. They knew about it, so they decided not only to screw us. So yes, said you got really lucky. You made top dollar, you made top ruble, and you left just in time. So yeah, this is how my higher education began in the Soviet Union, going out in the fields and working at a collective farm. And it's a separate topic to discuss why Soviet government had to do such a drastic measures and force city workers, city college kids, even school kids go out in the fields as seasonal workers and help collective farms. But they were just short of people and didn't have equipment to substitute lack of people. Here in America, if labor is too expensive, they'll design some kind of combine that will replace 1,000 workers. But there, they were just like, well, we're just gonna send 1,000 workers from the city to help harvesting beets, tomatoes, cucumbers, you name it. And of course, you need to remember that if you send someone out of city to help harvesting crops, people have no idea. So they don't do quality work. And then, of course, if you don't pay them, they're not productive either. So no quality, no productivity. But that was the only way to save the crops in the fall. Otherwise, they will just stay in the fields and they rot. And the only form of payment I recall would be that they will allow us to take home some produce. So, for example, you worked all day harvesting tomatoes, like I did one time for my mother, and they told us, yeah, take 10 kilos of tomatoes each. So we picked the best ones to take home. Or if you harvest cabbage, then you bring home cabbage, but still, we were not productive. So yeah, that's how my college experience began, by working at a collective farm. But I made friends, and when I came back to college, I knew everyone. They were happy to see me, so everything was good. So I'm glad that I decided to go for it and not play, what is it called, hooky. Okay, so in my next video, I'm planning to talk about differences between like Soviet high school, although we never called it high school, and Soviet college. So there were quite a few different things, the way the classes went, terminology, and so on. And if you have any questions, please post in the comment section. I will screenshot them and will answer them in my next video. Okay, my friends, it's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching Ushanka Show. And once again, please don't forget to like this video. Even if you post a comment as a picture of popcorn, it should help YouTube to recommend this video to some other people. I appreciate you. Super thanks, and we'll talk to you soon. До свидания. Goodbye. In today's video, I would like to show you another batch of vintage Soviet-era movie clips dating from 1930, which were filmed in Soviet Ukraine. 1930, that was the beginning of the awful time in Ukraine when Soviet government began forcing peasants to join collective farms, so-called collectivization. And as I was watching these movie clips myself, I couldn't stop thinking about my grandmother, Maria, who was born in 1907 in northern Ukraine, and who spent all her life working for a local collective farm. And what you're gonna see in these movie clips, this is what my grandma had to do even in 60s and 70s, just basic manual hard labor in the fields, pulling weeds, tilling the plants, and similar stuff. So anyway, here we go. Soviet Ukraine, 1930, first collective farms.